Hi there everybody, welcome back to Adventures in Keyboarding with Bad Mark and MechTech. Hope everybody's doing well. I'm just going to do a quick video here today. I finally finished customizing. This has got my Skyloong GK87S board. It is a board that I bought a while back before I realized or knew the difference between mechanical switches and optical mechanical switches. So I wanted to, because this board, I always like the look of it. I'm a big fan of TKLs, but there's really such a limited selection of switches. Yes, I know the housings are similar and the stems and this and that, but I really didn't want to go mixing mechanical with optical because the stem has to be specific, especially like a long stem pole. I don't know if that's going to actually actuate it, block enough of the light. If you know how those work. Basically, the switch has a hole down at the bottom, I guess best to explain. See if I can get this. Alright, see how you can see through to my hand? But when you press the stem, it blocks the light, and that's the actual actuation. So there's nothing inside of here but really a spring in the stem. There's nothing inside of the actual housing that's creating the actuation. So because of that, I basically just went and lubed each of the switches. I went through the board. I did paint the case. It was black. I made it red. I do need to get an airbrush because, I mean, while it looks nice, it's not as perfect as it could be. If I had an airbrush, I would have a lot more control of the stream, but I think it's pretty good for just primer, spray paint, and a couple of clear coats, couple of coats of clear. So, and then with the board, we went ahead and now I like doing this. Now some people are like, well, you know, it doesn't fit, it's stuck, whatever. Now this helps to, it basically kind of creates a chamber around, if not all the switches, most of the switches. So it helps to keep the acoustic level in. But if you don't like doing this, and the way that I do this is using strips like this, they're basically called window sealer. They're neoprene with an adhesive back, and they can be found in several different widths and several different dimensions. I particularly like the 2mm height and 3 to 5mm width, depending, because there are wide ones and there are skinny ones, depending. But just in case you don't want to spend the time to do this, but do want to get the effects, because putting a layer of foam between the plate and the PCB is going to make a significant difference in the sound of the quality of the keyboard. I mean, whether, you know, your tones are going to change is one thing, but it's definitely not going to sound, I hate to use the word, but it's not going to sound clacky, like cheap. If you don't want to do this, if you don't want to take the time to actually foam your plates, there's a site called Stupid Fish. It's an American company, I believe, and they have for almost every layout already cut out foam. You can order from them anywhere from $10 to $20 so that you can just get it, stick it in, and go. So, I mean, time is money. And if you're on a budget, if buying it from them is going to be cheaper than what your time would cost in making it, then no affiliation with them. I just came across it, and I've read a lot of glowing reviews. So Stupid Fish makes foam. It seems that that's all they do. So, I mean, when they specialize in something, and I think they do custom jobs as well. So anyway, we put some foam here. We also did I think it's called the Tempest Mod. I can't keep up with the names. We put some tape. I ran out. I started with orange, ran out of orange, finished up with blue. And then I did a silicone pour in base. Now, it's a pretty tight silicone pour, but I was able to shut it, so I don't know if you can see, but some of the PCB components actually show. Let me see, what else did we do? So, oh, and we did the plumber's tape mod and we had to clip. These were older stabilizers, so they had to get clipped, and then we put this bar had to be straightened out a bit. It was pretty uneven. And we put the plumber's tape around the legs of the stabilizers and then lube them up. So now we're going to hook this up. Now this is from a previous time that I had actually opened up to go and just look in here. I actually clipped these two wires because I didn't pay attention to where they were, and I had to fix that. So Yeah, that was my bad. So now I'm going to go ahead and start putting the JST connectors in place. Make sure that's the right one. Yep. Alright. Make sure that puppy is all the way in. So yeah, this is a Bluetooth version of the Skyloong board. So it has, that's for the USB daughter board, and this is for the battery, for the Bluetooth functionality. So I'm pretty sure that's the right way. I always want to make sure, although you really have to force it to get it in the wrong way. Now, here's the important part. Like I said before, that one time I opened it up, I didn't pay attention to where these were sitting. They basically just need to stay inside of here when you shut it up, so that, oh, look at me. This is why. Alright. Because the board, it's easier to connect one way. Yeah. See? That was it. Alright, but I didn't check on the cable, so obviously before we start screwing anything in, now I gotta pull it back up really carefully. Alright. So make sure that this cable is not going to get pinched by either that or that. Obviously you can't see what I'm seeing because I look at the same thing. Alright. Looks like the cables are good. They are definitely. It's not quite going all the way down, but I was able to shut it before, so there's still definitely a little bit of hollowness there, but I just didn't want to fill it anymore. I'm afraid that if I go another layer, because I was thinking of adding a sheet of either velvet or felt, but no, I think we're just going to stick with this. So now that we've got this in place, let's go ahead and put the plate down and screw this puppy in, and this goes this way. Alright. So, yeah, it's definitely tight in there, but it's sitting on top of the screw stud, so I think once we screw it in, we should be okay. Obviously, we don't want to be bending anything, but that tighter fit is going to create better compression and just a better stable experience as far as. Alright, those screws are in place. Now, this is still not attached to the bottom case. This was just attaching the PCB. Now, one thing I did see was a light diffuser. I'm going to go ahead and make sure this is going to fit in here, because I did cover it up, but it might be too painted. This goes down into here so that it shines. Looks like it's going okay. Goes into these holes for those LEDs to amplify. That's for caps lock and scroll lock, or caps lock and num lock. No, caps lock and scroll lock, I believe. All right. So yeah, so we've got the light diffuser in there. All right. So now that we have this together, why don't we go ahead and shut her up, and then put on the stabilizers, the switches, and the keys. So this is where I make sure this is a tightening fit I did before I painted, but I tried to tape off any of the spots where it has to lock together. So I'm hoping that there's not any issues with tolerance here. Alright, it does look like we're having an issue. Oh, There we go. I had those bars. I actually scratched up the paint just a bit on the inside because there's bars that go on the inside of this. Those metal bars did not have them on the inside. All right, so she's closed up. She does require a screw, and this one is a black. Well, it's not looking too bad. Let's put these screws back in there because I'm sure they're needed for something else. All right, so now let's go ahead and put these stabilizers in place. Let me get some switches in and see if we actually made any difference at all. And the plastic is touching. Sorry if I'm doing this out of frame, guys. Alright, so but definitely quieted it up a bit. The harmonic went out more than I'd like. See, the pad over here is still under there, and they're partially under. That's what I was going to adjust, but I'm afraid I would break these if I take them out. Alright, and those are good. Alright, so now let's do the switches. So these are blacks. Originally they came with reds, which were too light. I like blacks. Like I said, these were all lubed using my time lube method. So. Alright, so now we've got all the switches in, looking pretty good. What keys should we put on it? I think we will do this set right here. Let's go ahead and make some space for you. Alright, yeah, I think this is gonna look just perfect on this board. This is So here we are, completed board. looking good. I will be back shortly with the type test. Thanks for watching.